Hey everybody, welcome back to 80s Dreamwave. I thought I'd do a review of the Nancy Drew Fall Case 3 Murder on Ice. This starts out with Nancy and her boyfriend Ned Nickerson and her two best friends George and Bess on their way to Webb Cove Ski Lodge for a weekend vacation. Nancy's hoping to and Ned are hoping to have a romantic ski weekend together without a case. And when they get there, they meet Liz Wickcombe, and she asks them to sign in. Nancy signs for everybody, and when she's signing, Bess teases, "You should put that you're a well-known detective." She gives her a funny look. When Liz shows them to their room, they settle in. When Nancy comes down, Liz asked her to her office and asks, "Is it true what your friend said? You are a detective." She said, "Yes." She says, "I have a problem. I have someone," she said, "I'd like you to investigate something." And she tells her about the prowler. The only information she can give her is that someone's breaking in and that she saw them one night looking in. They had blue eyes and blonde hair. So Nancy agrees to investigate quietly. When she leaves the lodge, puts her skis on, she meets a man who his name is Luke Erickson. Luke Erickson stops her from going on the chairlift because he said he needs to check it out. He's kind of rude and nauseous to her, she thought. So she decides to use the tail line. When she's on the tail line, she's halfway up. She feels it's getting loose. Something's not right. And she's falling. Sees a guy above her. And when she comes to, she hears him, are you all right? And when she comes to, she sees Luke. Luke tells her when she comes to, no, there wasn't anybody other than him. But she was sure she saw someone else. Her friends come over and help her get to the lodge. Ned, of course, as she is getting checked out and seems she's okay, he introduces to his roommate, Gunnar, a German college student who is taking a semester off and traveling the United States. And they become friends. George, of course, when Nancy was telling them about the investigation that Liz wants them to do about the prowler, and that Luke was kind of rude, George kind of gets offensive. She don't know why. But she has a feeling that maybe she'd met her, kind of probably liked him from the minute she met him. So she's offensive toward. So after she starts feeling better, they go out to ski. She forgets about the case of law, but still thinking about Luke and how he acted. And of course, him being blonde and blue-eyed, still in the back of her mind. Later that evening, George and Luke did not come. She finally realized that Luke and her had gotten close. Didn't come in till after late. And she tried to talk to George, but George wouldn't listen to her. That there's something about him that's not right. She, of course, wakes up the next morning and they go skiing. Ned borrows some skis from Liz. When they're skiing, he gets into an accident. Luke, of course, gets mad and says that you shouldn't have been skiing if you weren't sure you could ski. He said, "I'm a good skier." And Nancy said he is. And the ski broke. When they looked at the ski, he said, "These are my old skis." And he said there was something loose in them. It's like they weren't fit together, like they had been damaged. Later that evening, George still wasn't talking to her, and Bess and Gunnar and all of them want to go out to a club at the hotel, local hotel. So Ned said, "Yeah, I'll go, but I can't dance, but I would like to get out of here for a while." So they go out and they go dancing. When they go dancing, Nancy decides to go dancing. She runs into the guy who had been above the towel line. He introduced himself as Mike Price. He's a sports inspector porter, and he he said that to not trust Luke. He said, "You know Luke," and he said, "Yeah, kind of." He said there was someone that that knew Luke, that he knew, but he said Luke is dangerous. But when she went to tell her friends, and when they went to find him to introduce him, he was gone. The next day, her mind was on Mike Price, and she wanted to find out more about him. So she started getting her car. Ned went with her to back to the hotel to talk to Mike about Luke, but her car wouldn't start. Something was wrong with her motor. It was probably too cold. So she asked Liz if there was a car she could borrow. Said there's an emergency jeep of Luke's, and she decides that she'll be back in just a little while. Her and Ned take the jeep over to the hotel, and of course she finds Mike, and Mike told that Luke had borrowed his his friend had borrowed the his skis, and he said he died in an accident that they broke with him. While she was talking to Mike about Luke, Luke pops up and gets angry. He said that the Jeep was only for emergencies. She said she didn't have the keys, that Ned did. Ned was elsewhere in the hotel. And after she leaves Mike, she goes looking for Ned. But Ned said he never saw Luke. So Luke must have left without the Jeep. So they thought the weather was getting kind of bad, so they left. On the way home, back to the lodge, the Jeep starts going out of control. The brakes break, and Nancy has to jerk it and run right into a tree. They're both fine, everything, but she's worried about Ned with his ankle not being too. How are they going to make it before the snow hits? But they start walking. Mike pops up and gives them a ride. On the way back, Mike states, you shouldn't borrow anything from Luke. He said that Jeep probably had bad brakes. How did he know they were the reason why they were in the wreck was because of the brakes? But she let it go, but her mind, she kept it. Her mind. When they got back, the blizzard started getting bad. And Liz, everybody else had left. All the others said, maybe you should leave too. But George was not talking to her. She tried to talk to George, and she said that whatever you found out was not the truth. She said that Luke was trying to get an Olympic, on the Olympics. He was well-known skier, and that's all she would tell her, and that's her interest. And she said something must have happened. So before the blizzard hit, she gets her skis and skis down to the town, to the library. The librarian was nice enough to let her look at the magazine printout, and she sees his picture. And she reads about the accident, finds out that Luke did not give the skis to this man, this German skier. They were in a race. Why did Michael lie about him borrowing his skis? He said that's suspicious. And another thing, he is German. He was a German racer. And Gunnar is, of course, German. Is he a suspect? On the way back, she pondered who could all these things be set for Luke to have been hurt? Or was he setting us up? She didn't know for sure. All these thoughts came in her head. Or could Gunnar be behind all this? Could he be the prowler? Could Who knows? I'm not going to reveal the end. This is my spoiler free, but that is my review of the Nancy Drew. So, who who's behind all this? Who's prowling around the property? Who's put murder on the thing? Is Luke setting all this up to hurt Liz or hurt her because she's a detective? Maybe he's afraid she might find something else that's not good about him. Or is Mike behind it? I'll let you go. This is my review of Nancy Drew Fall, Case 3, Murder on Ice. Like, subscribe. See you next time. Bye.